Hi guys, what do you got? Okay, I'm looking at the heart. Stop CPR. Shock. We're losing her. Time of death, 9:06. Thanks, guys.
I don't understand how come people don't understand how dangerous drinking and driving is.
It's no accident when someone drives off in a vehicle fully aware that they're in an alcoholic or drug-induced state, then proceed to veer off into the wrong lane of traffic and hit another vehicle. Sometimes people die. It's no accident. The choice you make to drink and drive may start a sequence of events that could change your life and someone else's forever. And that begins after the crash.
Go find your ball. Go get it. Go get your ball.
Ben and Brenda Wright of Port McNichol own two golden retrievers named Katie and Holly. Initially, they only had Holly, but Katie came along in November of 2002, the same month and year that Ben and Brenda's 38-year-old daughter, Laura Newey, and their 9-year-old grandson, Jonathan Newey, were killed by an impaired driver. Katie was Laura and Jonathan's dog. On November 29, 2002, Ben and Brenda Wright arrive at Royal Victoria Hospital in Barrie, unaware as to the extent of their daughter and grandson's injuries.
When we walked through the door, Laura's friend Denise was sitting there, and I looked at her and I said, "Is she gone?" And Denise said, "Yes, she is." And I said, "What about the child?" And she said, "He's gone too, Brenda." We didn't know at that point that I had been an impaired driver. We just knew that she had been in an accident and that they were both dead.
To learn that both of them that we'd lost both of them in one fell swoop, that was just, I don't know, it was just unthinkable.
At the time of the crash, Michael Newey was divorced from his wife Laura. On that day, Laura was bringing Jonathan to see his dad. They never arrived.
I called the OPP office in Barrie and asked them if they had any notification of any accidents between Port McNichol and Barrie. They put me on hold for several minutes and then came back on the phone and said that my presence was required at Royal Victoria Hospital in Barrie.
Michael goes to the hospital and receives the tragic news.
I just sat in the chair and said, I just numb. I just went numb. I had no feeling, I had no emotion, other than this isn't happening, this isn't real. I mean, all I ever wanted in my life was a son. That was it, plain and simple, end of story.
Michael had arrived at the hospital before his former in-laws Ben and Brenda Wright. He warned police and hospital staff that history was about to repeat itself.
They had lost their son 10 years previous, and I had to make that phone call. And I said, they have now lost everything that means anything to them in the world. Their daughter, their only grandson, and 10 years previous, their son.
Wayne Wright was killed in a motorcycle accident in June of 1992. He had just turned 30.
When I lost my boy, it was almost like somebody had just taken a whole piece of me and ripped it out. And then I healed from that, and 10 years later, I lose a daughter and a grandson, and it was like my life was just gone from me. And I'm still, sitting here today and doing the activities that I do every day, and I'm pretty normal. I can't believe that I was able to move through that, because the burden of grief is so difficult to take with you every day, on your journey every day.
Put it down. Come on, Holly.
Brenda and Ben turned to a support group to help deal with their grief after they lost their son, Wayne.
And there was another man and woman there, and they had just the one daughter, and they had lost their one daughter. And I thought, holy mackerel, they've got they've got nothing left. You know, what kind of life have they got, you know? And next thing you know, I'm in the same boat.
I ran out and told her where to go because I know the houses in the area. Told her where to go, hopefully that we could get some help.
Laura and Jonathan Newey were killed at the intersection of Moonstone Road and the Scarlet Line in Oro-Medonte. Area resident Lynn Gibson was traveling directly behind the Newey vehicle just before the crash.
I looked up and I could see a truck approaching the intersection coming north on Scarlet Line, and I realized that he was going too fast that he wasn't going to stop. So I immediately looked at her car to see if she was going to get by in time. And he hit her, T-boned her right on the driver's side of the car and pushed the car, and the truck came up to just behind me here.
Gibson manages to call for help, but it was already too late for Laura and Jonathan Newey.
I will have thoughts when I approach the stop sign, and I think about Laura and Jonathan, I think about the accident, I think about Ben and Brenda, and it's just you know, it's just heart-wrenching.
OPP Constable Linda Coulis was the arresting officer the day of the crash.
Once I entered the ambulance where the driver of the pickup was, he was complaining of back pain. That's when I noticed symptoms of the impaired driving. He never once asked how anybody else was involved in the accident. Stated he hadn't been drinking at all.
It was discovered the driver of the pickup truck had consumed between 3 and 4 times the legal limit of alcohol. He was sentenced to a 3-year jail term and a 5-year driving prohibition.
I wonder how Ben and Brenda are doing, and Jonathan's father, Michael. I always think how things can change in one instant.
I remember even that night at the hospital, I said to Ben, we got to keep close. We got to just really hold on to each other through this, or we're not going to make it.
And he's doing pretty good.
Michael Newey is the last member to carry on the Newey family name. Jonathan Newey would have had that honor. Michael and his wife Tracy are unable to have children.
The fact that I can't have any more children via natural way, like, you know, we can adopt, but my whole life I wanted a son. I wanted to watch my boy grow up. It's like having a whole piece of you taken away and not able to put it back.
Come on, ladies. Come on. We have no children left in our... It's very frightening.
Hi, how you doing today, sir?
Not too bad.
Just doing a ride program. Have you had anything to drink today at all?
Yes, I have had a couple.
You've had a couple.
Yes.
Do you have a driver's license with you, sir?
Yes, sir.
And we conduct a ride program similar to the one behind us. When we do stop a driver that we have suspicion has been drinking, an officer will bring them back to either the ride truck or to the cruiser and perform what we call an approved screening device test.
Tight seal and keep blowing, please. Blow, blow, keep blowing.
The result of that will either give the officer grounds to bring somebody into the police station, or will tell us that they're okay to continue driving on our roadways.
For James, getting stopped by police and subsequently charged for impaired driving marked the beginning of a downward spiral in his life.
Contrary to popular belief that you are innocent until proven guilty, you are treated as a criminal in the process. So they typically make you go through the roadside tests that you would have to go through. They book you and they handcuff you, put you in the car. Very humiliating, actually.
Anyone we stop that we have suspicion, that's all we need, though. That's the only grounds we need to give them a roadside test. Now, if someone who shows up who's obviously impaired, then we'll just arrest them and take them to the police station.
Okay, Rick, step out of the car, please.
I was in a leadership position with our company, and based on everything going on, I thought the best alternative for me was not to remain in that position and start on a clean slate. I didn't want to bring them down or light of what that charge was. So again, I mean, you take this thing fairly personally. It's a humiliating experience. You are a criminal, and you're like that for a good 12 months.
We've had people who come in, they hear from a buddy that if you do certain things that it'll either help you with the breath test or it may invalidate the breath test. I've had an individual place a tack in his shoe and step down on it at the time that he's doing the blow for some reason the pain is supposed to alter something to do with the reading. We've had individuals, myself, a guy who tried to do 100 push-ups in a 2-minute period to work himself up to get so much oxygen into his system, or running on the spot was another one. And none of those myths, and they are complete myths, are going to assist you or invalidate the test in any way.
Just relax, we're going to start with your right hand.
Probably the thing that people don't realize is that the lack of mobility is the number one issue for myself, but the physical cost out of pocket for that 12 months is about $35,000. And then the insurance, the ongoing insurance costs over time is very prohibitive. So if you think it's just a $1,000 charge or $2,000 charge and you lose your license, when you start adding up all the costs and keeping your car on the road, and it's a very, very expensive experience to go through.
The perception is that, I'm not going very far, may be the case, or I'm okay, I feel that I'm fine, when they really know that they're not fine to get behind the wheel. And at that point, it's just very, very poor judgment on their part. And in some cases, I would hazard a guess, sometimes just plain selfishness, that they want to look after themselves, they want to get home, and they're not really concerned about anyone else and what may happen.
Take it from me, it's not a happy experience. You will not enjoy losing your license for a year and being without that freedom that we all have, and certainly it could be far greater cost to you with the impact if you'd ever had an accident or hit someone else or injured someone in the car. You'd never forgive yourself.
Get the calculator.
Clothes.
Your clothes. I think I have most of your clothes here. I have all your t-shirts.
Jason Chagnon is going home for the weekend.
That's a great puzzle too. This helps a lot with dexterity.
Jason's mother and father, Eva and Peter, are gathering some clothes and items that their son will need when they arrive at their Barrie home.
Your door closed or open?
Want the door closed? Okay.
The ritual of picking up Jason from Royal Victoria Hospital in Barrie on weekends and taking him home has been going on for the past 8 months.
Going home.
Before that, it was 7 weeks at Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto, where 25 of those days were spent trying to stabilize their son's vital signs. It began December 16th, 2007. 24-year-old Jason Chagnon had arrived at Sunnybrook with all of his ribs broken, lungs collapsed, spleen damaged, liver lacerated, but worst of all was the brain damage.
We saw the CAT scan and it was just like looking at a snowstorm. It was just dotted from top to bottom, side to side.
5 areas of Jason's brain had also hemorrhaged. Eva and Peter were told there was only a 10% chance their son would come out of a coma, and if so, an 85% chance that he would be in a vegetative state. On that evening, Jason's vehicle had been hit by a truck, killing one of his best friends and seriously injuring another. Impaired driving was determined to be the cause.
I have never in my life gone through anything as horrible as this. And please, I don't ever want to go through anything like this again. You really, really, really believe that it's not going to happen to you. And it's in the movies and it's pretend, and then boom, it hits you like a ton of bricks.
Eva and Peter Chagnon dug in their heels. They refused to accept their son's prognosis. Peter quit his job to attend to his son's needs and help with his rehabilitation.
So long as he was here with us and he breathed, we were going to bring him back. He had a orange juice.
When he first said to me, I'm going to quit my job and do this, I said, oh my God, what are you talking about? Everything is already falling apart now, and now we're going to add financial burden. And I said, we can't do this. I slept on it, and the next day I thought he's absolutely right. This is the only thing we can do.
I never, except twice, left Jason's side in 8 months. I slept on the floor next to him on 3 sofa cushions at Sunnybrook. And then when he was transferred to RVH, they were kind enough to provide me with a cot that I installed next to his bed and just stayed there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Every whimper, every move, everything that he was doing, I was aware of it and stayed there with him to let him know that he wasn't going to be left alone.
We don't know how far we're going to be able to bring him back in terms of taking his life back, giving him his life back, but we're going to try. And lots of people, not just the medical industry, but friends and other people, relatives, they've said, "What are you doing? You know, you're wasting your life."
Nice car, Jay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stereo now.
My speaker went.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah. It's gonna make it pound.
The Jason that was before the accident died. He is a different person. He is not totally cognitive. He does not walk. He feeds himself if we cut it up for him. He can't tend to himself at all. I brush his teeth, comb his hair, shave him, shower him, change him.
Come on, Jay.
Initially, doctors said Jason Chagnon would not be able to speak. Just over a year after coming out of a coma, Jason asked his father if anyone else was in the car at the time of the crash.
And it hurts me for him to know now. And it's another pain. It's just another pain that we're going to have to help him out with.
The Chagnons encounter another obstacle. Jason must leave Royal Victoria Hospital soon and may be sent as far away as Hamilton until appropriate housing is found for their son.
We need boxes for moving.
The cost of redoing the house to accommodate him for washroom and for our garage is a single car garage. It just won't work. So we're told now to start looking for a house.
So how does that sit with you?
I hardly have time to brush my teeth, let alone trying to get to move.
I just believe he keeps getting better every day because of what we're doing. Every day he's better than the day before. And it's going to add up to him being able to one day walk out of the house and say, "Thanks, guys, I've got it from here."
That's what keeps me going. He'll get his own life back. You know, we can do this. We can do anything. Well, you know we can. Look at you. You're coming back. You're born again, buddy. You're born again.
Impaired driving is a leading criminal cause of death in Canada, but you could play an important role to help lower this tragic statistic should the moment arise.
And that moment did arise for Angus resident Larry Johnson.
I stopped at the stop sign to go into Angus and some car came flying by me. Originally I thought it was a couple of teenagers showing off or, you know, just being teenagers, and then it quickly became something a lot more serious. And this person was swerving all over the road and driving at high erratic speeds. How the person didn't wreck the car or hurt somebody themselves is just unknown. And it just became obvious the more that I followed this person that this person was intoxicated or under some kind of influence. Yeah, I'm following a drunk driver. I'm at the stop sign at the 5th concession in Highway 90. I just thought that this has got to be reported before somebody, either the driver or another person, is seriously hurt or killed. And it just It's something I just felt compelled to do.
You have a cell phone, call 911 and just give them the details that you're able to give, direction of travel, a description of the vehicle, what you saw, and last direction you saw the vehicle traveling, so that you can assist the police to being able to apprehend this person.
It's heart-wrenching, graphic, and intense. These Guthrie Public School students are watching a mad presentation on the harsh realities and consequences of choosing to drink and drive before they're old enough to get behind the wheel themselves.
And you'll be unable to walk again.
These messages are going to hit closer to home with them because they don't already have established habits, if you will, and they haven't been exposed to all that they will be exposed to in high school. And we hope that by empowering them to be the change that we need to see, that they become part of our solution before they become part of our problem.
I think that my friends felt the same way as I did. They felt that this stuff also, I think, made them think, because it makes them sad or scared, and they really want to think about what they're going to do when they grow up to make sure they make the right choices.
Susan and Bill Bollier own a small business in Cumberland Beach called Black Barn Golf Cars. They buy, sell, trade, and customize golf carts. They had planned to retire. Their son Paxton was going to take over the business.
Well, he come with me. We were in our third year, and then the crash happened, and it's over now. So
Paxton and his wife Lori Bollier were riding their motorcycles along Duck Bay Road in Wabashine. The date was September 7th, 2006. A van going the opposite direction entered the couple's lane. Paxton was hit head-on and suffered massive head injuries. He later died at Sunnybrook Hospital. The driver was charged with impaired driving causing death and received a 5.5-year jail term.
at first, I wanted revenge for this guy doing this. It was his third time up. You know, he was charged with impaired in the late 80s and served a couple of weeks in jail for his trouble, and then he goes right back out and does it again. And then it's a fatal crash, you know, he kills our boy.
This is my favorite picture of Paxton and I. I've gotten past being angry at him. Now I just wish it would all go away. But I would like to see somebody step up and put a stop to it. They can stop you from smoking in public places. They can make you stop doing a lot of things, but they can't seem to get a handle on no drinking and driving.
If I could read his writing, I'd call these people and see what he planned. I come out here alone sometimes and just sit here like I'm sitting here. He's got writing on the wall that he had his own memory board he'd use, and I haven't got I just can't erase it. It's his writing still there.
Lori and Paxton Bollier were married for 9.5 years. They had just moved into their new home in Cumberland Beach and were planning on starting a family. Then came the crash.
We were best friends. We did everything together. He was just fantastic. He always thought about other people. He was my soulmate. We've been together since high school. One of the best ones. He was the good one that was taken.
After her husband's death, Lori Bollier received no financial support from the government. Because she was under 35 years of age and had no dependents, she did not qualify for widow support.
So I'm figuring life out on my own, and it's probably one of the hardest things to do, to start over again. Everything that I've worked so hard, I could lose because of this one person. It's probably one of the proudest moments of my life, was getting back on that motorcycle after what had happened to me. And I thought, well, I'm just going to get on and just go down the road. I got on, he couldn't get me off. There was the biggest smile on my face. It wasn't the bike that killed him, it was the drunk driver, and that's how I look at it.
Hi, Commissioner. Good to see you. I think the best hope that I have for this issue to be turned around significantly is for people to act more responsibly, to drink responsibly, and to ensure that whatever we do, driving is a privilege, it's not a right, and we can't violate that right by putting ourselves and others in danger by drinking and driving, which we know often leads to tragedy.
As a police officer, any emergency personnel, we also have children and families and friends with children, and we don't want that to happen to our families or anybody for that matter. And although it wasn't my family, it certainly will always affect me, and I know I'll never forget this incident ever.
These are not accidents, you know, these are acts that are thought out. People get in a car and drive when they know they shouldn't be. And to me, that's murder.
There's so many other ways to get home. You have friends, you have cabs, you have buses, you have parents, you have siblings, you have whatever is in front, you have your feet. Don't be stupid, just grow up.
If no one's gotten the message yet, get the message now, really, because you cannot imagine that today you're here and tomorrow you may not be. The decision is before you even think of going out to have a party. Think about how you're going to get back. Someone out there will gladly be your hero. Gladly come and get you and take you home.
So it comes down to a choice. The choice to drink and drive or not. Now, should you make the wrong choice, you're playing a dangerous game of Russian roulette. The gun is loaded. Are you willing to pay the price should that gun go off? Think about it.